Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Beastmen led by Renegade Moose facing off against Khorne, who shall be helmed by a nameless champion. The name is blurred out, so probably in a different language, but it is here on the spawning pools. Now, as far as the Beastmen build goes, it's going to be a lot of Centaurs with throwing axes, and avoiding melee with Khorne is always a good idea. So Centaurs with throwing axes, good AP, good mobility, and good enough charge impact in melee if they need to rear charge like Khorne Marauders, different things like that. So I do like the choice of the Centaurs, and they can also run up and grab the points very, very quickly, right? So we have Objective 1 here, we have Objective 3, and Objective 2. So the reason you don't see this map too often in some of the replays on the channels is because it's one of the CA maps. It's one of the decent ones. It's a little bit kind of choke heavy though. Some armies can get really kind of clustered here, and there's a lot of weird choke points. But overall, I think it's a good enough map. So you also have a great Brave Shaman of the Wild, and hey, surprise, surprise, it is going to be the dreaded Traderkin. Obviously, one of the better elements of the Beastmen. Traderkin is an extremely powerful spell. You drop it on blobs, and you value. Here in the back, we got the Bloodroot Behemoth. It's going to be betraying its own kind here, going to fight against Khorne. And, Khorne fights Khorne all the time, right? So it makes sense. But as far as the tactical choice goes, not bad at all. Anti-large, armor-piercing. It can go fisticuffs with big Khorne monsters. It can fight the Minotaurs and Spawn of Khorne. Spawn of Khorne certainly aren't the most common, but they hit like trucks if they can get into combat. But I do like the Bloodroot Behemoth as an SE in general. It's fast, it's mobile, it hits incredibly hard, has insane leadership, and it regenerates. So there's a lot to enjoy here on this beast. On the other side, it's more Centaurs, including some regular ones, to protect the throwing axes. Obviously, throwing axes don't want to get in combat with like Khorne dogs, but the Centaurs with the spears and shield can fight a Khorne dog as long as they get their charge off. It really depends. Now, for the Khorne army, this is a wild one, man. This is a wild army. We got double Skull Cannon up in here. We also have Scarbrand. So Scarbrand is pretty good with Rage Embodied, which is what this player brought. And there are going to be some Spawn of Khorne here in the shadows. I think 3 in total. And yeah, Spawn of Khorne hits super freaking hard, but they're really vulnerable against missile play. And Beastmen often bring Ungor Raiders, different things like that to kill them very quickly. But it looks like the Beastman player is going to be having to rely on his Centaurs with throwing axes. So it's going to get real sweaty for sure. And I would imagine Khorne's going to roll up on this point with its motorcycles here in just a second. So Khornate Furies are on the way out, and they hit incredibly hard too. A really good answer against Centaurs, because Centaurs really like to get their charge impact, right? Charge bonus is big for Centaurs, and Flying Furies, even before Furies got buffed, they were a pretty good answer against like these type of cavalry units. So Skull Cannon's ripping some shots, able to take down, it looks like 8 Centaurs in total. We got 2 Centaurs sitting back here for Renegade Moose, and for our mighty Khornate champion, he is going to be moving up with Chaos Warhounds, taking a very ballsy charge here, realizing at the last second that that is a bit of a mistake, and is going to be retreating off into the Shadow Realm as the Marauders of Khorne make their way up. And the objective here, oh, this has like a circular capture point, interesting, but this one is going to probably be taken by the Beastmen still. They have a total of 12 capture weight here. Granted, Khorne is going to get it back in just a moment as soon as they arrive. So Marauders of Khorne take the charge, and this is good for the Marauders. They'll eat it and take a little bit of damage, but they're absorbing a lot of the enemy impact and allowing the Furies and other units to flank in here. So now the Furies are going to be able to pursue, probably rip down some of these models. But I would imagine Renegade Moose is setting up for a Traderkin. If he can catch like a big blob like Double Fury plus some Khorne dogs and get them with a Traderkin, that'd be pretty damn powerful. Now on this side, we see the Marauders of Khorne taking Objective 1, backed up by some Spawn. The Spawn are moving up very slowly, although, I don't know, maybe they're delayed there. And now we see the first Traderkin going down. So Traderkin going to be nailing the Warhounds. Or I think those are the regular Warhounds. Yeah, those aren't Khorne dogs. It also hits some of the Furies too, which is very good. And the Spawn a little bit slower than the Minotaurs of Khorne, but they do hit, like I said, incredibly hard against light armor. Harder than Minotaurs, actually. I think Minotaurs have just over 100 weapon strength. Obviously, often have anti-large or anti-infantry, some more specialists. But yeah, these things, if they can get in there and not just get focused by missiles, they can mulch things pretty quickly. The Beastmen are going to be playing kind of a multi-pronged game, it looks like, trying to take advantage of this very obnoxious terrain here. So you got these like 2 choke points, and it's going to make it a little bit tougher for Khorne to have diagonal movement, because normally you would be able to cover like in a direct line, but due to the terrain, you kind of have to loop down and under. Now the Blood Chad Behemoth is going to be on its way in. Centaur is going to get in as well with their full charge bonus, and yeah, these Marauders are going to be getting wrecked. Gorgons are such cool monsters. In tabletop, they're some of the better monsters in the game, in my opinion. They have infantry killing blow and monsters killing blow. So basically, if you roll a 6 to wound against a monster or an infantry unit, it just instantly kills it. They do get a ward save, that's all they get, but that's really powerful ability, right? So Gorgons are pretty cool in tabletop and also very good in this game as well. So Scarbrand does use Rage Embodied, and that is going to be rampaging some Centaurs, but unfortunately they don't care too much about being pissed off when they're running for their lives, so they are going to be fleeing. It would have been a better play here for the Khorne player if he had gotten the rampage, like the full duration rampage here on the Bloodroot. He's going to get a partial rampage because it does remain active, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, looks like it just wore off, but yeah, if it got the full rampage on the Bloodroot, surrounded it with Spawn, that thing would have probably died or been taken down to a very low amount of health. But Khorne chilling out on the objectives and using the dreaded skull cannons to lay some barraging fire down on the Centaurs back here. They do get pops a little bit. Meanwhile, the main fighting seems to be taking place here, and the Chad Brute Behemoth, he's certainly out of his element. I mean, he is anti-large, but Skarbrand is not the best duelist in the game, but he's a very good one. Skarbrand probably gets defeated by a couple characters, namely Kugath. Kugath is arguably like one-on-one if you're fighting him in melee. I don't think anybody beats Kugath. Like, I don't think so. Which is a little bit funky, but I suppose it makes sense. Like, if you're going to sit there and, you know, Skarbrand's way faster, he can hit and run, he can collect more skulls in multiple places, whereas Kugath can really only do much work with his, you know, potato speed in one spot. But the Beastmen do have the mobility advantage. Really nice throwing axe maneuver here by the Renegade Moose with all of his Moose cavalry here. But he does move around the side here with the Centaurs. Gets a really nice volley on Skarbrand. Spawn going to be sent forward, and another Traderkin going down here. It's an okay one. It hits 2 units. It hits some Marauder, and it also hits some Spawn. Not the worst thing. Probably could have waited for these motorcycles to get in, but sometimes you just got to pull the trigger. And now we see a couple Ungor Raiders being pulled in, which is a very, very good call for the Beastmen. The Ungor Raiders will be excellent against the spawn of Khorne. They'll do a bunch of damage. You got to watch out for those Furies, and this is a big bunch of Beastmen. He's very lucky that the Sword of Khorne isn't dropping on his head right now. It's probably either hasn't been built up yet, or maybe the Khorne player has been using his horn just to buff his various units. So Spawn are going to get charged here. The Centaurs do move in to fight them, and the Khornate Furies descending from the skies. Certainly going to be lending their wings to the battle and doing good damage, but those Centaurs on the impact also did do some respectable damage. Those Furies getting wrecked by the Centaurs, my goodness. I mean, yeah, Furies are very strong. Definitely kind of more, I think, slightly overtuned. I don't think Furies need like a big nerf, maybe like a 15% nerf overall just to their effectiveness somehow would probably be enough, but yeah, the Centaur charge is impactful, and this is going to be huge for the Bray Herd. Big Traderkin, that was a great one. It hits the spawn, it hits Furies, it hits the infantry. Might even tickle the pickle of some of those Khorne dogs if they make their way in. Now, on the other side, Khorne looks like they're counter-pushing, and Khorne does manage to steal that objective right there. So they steal objective number 3, and we do see some spawn chasing down the Pestigors. Pestigors also being harried and pursued by the Chaos Furies here, and those spawn should be able to karate chop them with their mighty bladed, I guess they have blades on there? No, they're just kind of like nasty molten mutations, but yeah, you know, Khorne works with what he's got. Now back in the epicenter of battle, we are here on Objective 1. It is owned by the Beastmen, but Khorne is certainly threatening it. A lot of forward aggression coming in from Khorne, which makes sense. Spawn of Khorne, Marauders, as well as Flesh Doggos, and we do also have 2 Skull Cannons. Now, Skull Cannons are respectable infantry pieces, and they also regenerate ammo the longer they're in combat. So if they're fighting in combat, they regenerate ammo, which is kind of a cool mechanic. But, you know, they do have anti-infantry and armor piercing and can help you get through some of these Ungor Raiders and Chaff Spearman units. And Khorne looks like they are taking control of this point. But we do see the Blood Brute Behemoth coming across, trying to get to Skarbrand. But Skarbrand's elite bodyguard, the bodyguard of the Blood God, the spawn of Khorne, are doing a lot of damage against that Gorgon. And he better be careful not to get rampaged here. If Marlon Skarbrando wants to rampage him, what you could do is you could rampage the Blood Brute, then you run away with Skarbrand, and the rampaging beast will then attack like infantry, and then you come back with Skarbrand, and he's going to continue often attacking the wrong target. So that's one way to use the rampage, right? You're baiting them in. So we get Furies in the back pushing. I think this might be a mistake by Khorne to move off that objective. I think the spawn just kind of sitting over there with some Khornate infantry would be the play, and I think the Khorne player immediately recognizes this and is going to be sending some spawn back over there. You don't want to give up that capture you just worked for, especially when you got your opponent triple caps like this. That's going to be big. So the Rampage did go down. Very, very well played. And we are going to see the Blood Brute Behemoth in the danger zone. But the Khornate forces here are looking a little bit thin. Pestigors coming in, providing some AP. Not that there's anything really armored here, but Pestigors in general are just a good unit because they're poison, and Tears of Nurgle is also a pretty good little debuff. Here we get a Skull Cannon coming back. Fire at Will is back on. And the Traderkins are probably going to be, if anything, when the Beastmen get some ground here, it's going to be because of Traderkin. So we see that melting the spawn, hitting the Skull Cannon here, and also is going to be hitting Skarbrand. Skarbrand actually starting to struggle against the Blood Brute Behemoth. This thing's no joke. 2,700 against 32 on Skarbrand. Skarbrand does connect. He does have the better melee attack, but oh no, he doesn't actually. Shit, wow, the Blood Brute's at 83. No, down to 73. Okay, it looks like that was some sort of a buff, a temporary one, but yeah, Skarbrand one-on-one should beat the Blood Brute. But again, I think with Skarbrand, you always want to bring the Wrathful Reaper ability, the one that gives him 50% damage. It's pretty insane. 50% extra damage. You rampage, and then you pop that, and he can pretty much auto-kill whatever he's on. So yeah, Skarbrand proving that he's the Chad of Khorne. He's like, I know you're a mighty champion of Khorne in your own right, Blood Brute, but this is my home. And he is going to take the Beast down. The Beast is at 500 HP. And Skarbrand with the KO if he manages to make one more hit. But Khorne looking very bare bones here. They don't have a whole lot. We got some Marauders. Oh no, Chaos Warriors coming up. But Skarbrand needs to get away. The Blood Brute Behemoth does indeed get broken as well, and Skarbrand's going to be trying to stabilize his leadership here. He does use Relentless Rage. I really like that. It's a nice play. But look at this. Great maneuvering here by the Renegade Moose. He pulls around and tries to pin in Scarbrand, but Scarbrand just barely escapes. That rear charge was definitely a very clean play. And over here on the side, we see the spawn of Khorne duking it out. And they have been able to dismember these Pestigors, and will struggle against the Ungors if the Marauders break. But if the Marauders keep fighting here, that's a big thing, right? Like if Scarbrand like breaks and dies right here, for example, these Marauders will break, and then the spawner alone against Spears, and suddenly it's like a whole different thing on that side, right? But uh-oh, Scarbrand gets the Rampage on the Wizard here, but there's a lot of Centaurs coming in with the follow-up, but I think Scarbrand's just going to be running away. So we see Scarbrand sitting at -1 leadership. He does not want to be crumbling. Uh-oh, he's getting rear charged by the mighty Great Bray Shaman. That's quite an achievement here for the Bray Shaman, taking down old Scarbrand here. But Scarbrand's at -2. He might stabilize. He's at 1. He's at 4. Is he gonna stabilize? Oh my God! Scarbrand just barely stabilizes. Wow. So he's gonna run back to Khorne. Oh, never mind. Khorne's like punishing him for his failure. Okay, so Khorne's like, nope, sorry, you're gonna crumble. Oh wait, no, Khorne just teasing. He is at 6 leadership. You definitely unsummon him at this point. You definitely unsummon him. So. And back in the fight, we see Furies engaging with our Minotaurs here, and the Bloodbrute Behemoth didn't hear no bell. He wants to be the chosen champion of Khorne here today as he moves in, and when he gets in combat, he is going to be healing. So, you know, I think Scarbrand deserves Gorb Feast, but we see Scarbrand retreating off the battlefield. I personally think Lord Unsummoning, they should just get rid of it. That's just my 2 cents, but yeah, I know some people like it, but I just think it's kind of a weird... I understand unit unsummoning because it's fundamentally necessary for the game mode, just to like have fresh units coming in and not run out of stuff and have it be like a weird, you know, couple things. Fighting over 3 points, that makes sense mechanically, but Lord Unsummoning, like at the very least, if you unsummon your Lord, your army should take a penalty, in my opinion, because the Lord has technically fled the battlefield. That, you know, some middle ground like that would be pretty good. But back in the middle, we do see the objective going to the Beastmen, so Renegade Moose has chased off the Lord of Khorne, and Khorne is still fighting pretty hard on this side. We do see the Furies coming in as well as he spawn, but those Ungor Raiders are getting a lot of value. They're up to about 500 value, obviously working on the spawn there. Furies are trying to wear them down, but the Khorne Furies are kind of losing this too. I don't know what's going on here with this like 300 gold spear unit. It's going like a champ. A couple Centaurs maybe trying to steal the back point here. They were, so they're trying to ninja that one from old Khorne. A couple of Flesh Doggos were called out, and now we're going to be seeing these Centaurs move over here, maybe to rear charge in and help this fight be won by the Ungors. And we do see the capture weight here in Flux, currently owned by Khorne. But the Beastmen are going to be calling in some Centaur throwing axes. A great answer, you know, for capture weight and also good fighting prowess. The Centaurs rear charge into the back of the spawn, and also the throwing axes coming in. Really, really clean play here by the Moose and the 4th quarter, and those spawn are going to be taken out. Very epic fight. This is a great fight between these two players. And a very unorthodox build, right, by the Khorne player. Perhaps there's some forbidden strategies on the domination ladder, like the Skull Cannon and the Spawn, because Renegade Moose is a great player who regularly plays in our tournament, right? In our tournaments, and this is a very, very good match. So Bloodbrute might be the carry, though. We see the Bloodbrute anchoring here. Normally, these Minotaurs of Khorne would probably have a good time versus Butchers of Kalkengard, but with the Bloodbrute, who's also healed like 2,000 HP plus, if not more, just being in combat, feasting on his enemies, that's big. That's going to be turning the tide of this fight. And is it a triple cap situation? No, I think the Beastmen will comfortably win on 2. So that will probably be... I don't see Khorne putting up much more of a fight. The Beastmen have... Oh, the Sword of Khorne! Oh, there was a Sword of Khorne we missed for sure. I mean, look at the carnage here. And yeah, that did happen. We must have missed it. It probably killed the Centaur units that went into combat there. But even still, the Centaurs will be able to fend off those Fleshhounds, and Khorne is routed off this point here. The Beastmen have a pretty firm objective on things. They do have the Bloodbrute Behemoth, the Bray Shaman, Butchers of Kalkengard, and more Centaurs. But I think at this point, we're safe to do a little bit of fast forwarding. It ain't my first rodeo. I've casted a lot of games over the years, and I think that is probably going to be it. So we do see the Beastmen continuing to scrap with it. If they reach 1250 before, yeah, so no, it's a double cap situation for the Beastmen. So we do see the Centaurs charging in there, and this guy didn't hear any bell, but what an interesting game, right? We saw the double Skull Cannon trying to... I just feel like if the Khorne player didn't bring the Skull Cannons, he might have had a really good chance of winning. Although I'm curious to see the value after all is said and done, but Skull Cannons are just so janky. I'm personally more of an enjoyer of the Blood Shrine. Oh, Khorne getting a little bit of play here, but we do see the back objective get taken as well, right? So there's no way. Khorne is just so behind at this point. They are ahead on value, but the Beastmen got a lot of healing on their Bloodbrute Behemoth as well as the Butchers of Kalkengard, and they have their Lord on the battlefield. Khorne doesn't. So there's a big difference there. But yeah, what a game. That was a really, really good match. But yeah, overall, I mean, I kind of like the Spawn. I thought they were cool. It was a very interesting take on Khorne. And the Spawn, let's see what kind of value we got. 600, 300. Yeah, you see, I just can't help but think if those were Minotaurs, it'd be way better. But I don't know. They're a deterrent. You don't want to fight them. They do if they can get into combat, but Beastmen are so slippery and have so many cost-effective missiles that overall I think you just kind of cut these. Yeah, the Skull Cannons actually paid for themselves, so shit, maybe they did something. I don't know. Scarbrand was a Chad, 3,000 value. Bloodbrute, 2,400. So more skulls were taken by Scarbrand, I think. 60. Oh, actually, the 70 skulls here against 65. All right, Scarbrand, you better step up your game. And yeah, aside from that, it was good. Really good play by both players. Super fun, highly mobile, lots of big monster fights. What's not to love? So GG. We'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves, and that is it for today.